Hello everybody, welcome to another fragrance review of the Chinese niche perfume brand called Melt Season. So Melt Season is one of the three big perfume brands in China, Documents, To Summer and Melt Season. In terms of scents, Melt Season is the Chinese brand that really resonates with me. And they just launched recently a limited edition collection, which is a trilogy, and the special thing about it is that none of them tries to smell beautiful in the traditional niche perfume sense. They smell like emotional weather, not moments you remember clearly, but moods that return unexpectedly through scent. Today, we're going to talk about three new releases from Melt Season. ETHEREAL, in Chinese, we call it Ru Yan, which means as like smoke. Second, we have the green one called the Untamed, Ye Cao, which means wild grass. And the last one called ANITYA, which means 阵雨, which means rain. So three fragrances, three philosophies of existence. One talking about memory, the other one freedom, and the last one about impermanence. And honestly, this may be one of the most literally coherent indie perfume launches coming out of China right now. So there's a certain kind of perfume brand that doesn't build fragrances around status, seduction, or escapism. Instead, they build atmosphere, and Melt Season belongs to that category. Their storytelling feels closer to independent cinema or contemporary Chinese prose, quiet, emotional, restrained, slightly melancholic, but deeply sensory. And what I appreciate most is that the concepts don't feel artificially intellectual. The scent structures actually support the philosophy behind them. Aren't perfumes trying to impress you in the first 5 minutes, but they unfold like thoughts. Let's start with ETHEREAL, Yin, which means smoke. So this is my favorite out of the three, and it's really about memory drifting like smoke, right? ETHEREAL is probably the softest and most emotionally intimate fragrance in the collection. Inspiration revolves around scent-triggered memory, what literature sometimes calls the prose moment, and that strange instant when a familiar smell suddenly collapses time. And the perfume captures that beautifully, but it never feels fully tangible. So it opens with this very creamy, slightly milky sandalwood on the top, and almost immediately it dissolves into powdery iris and airy florals. So nothing here feels sharply outlined. The texture is very translucent. It's like old light passing through curtains. And what really defines this fragrance for me is this contrast between warmth and distance. So there's incense, it smells like snow pine, it smells like a cool, smoky dryness under the softness. But instead of comforting nostalgia, it really feels like nostalgia already fading away while you're experiencing it, like you're remembering something while simultaneously losing it. And that's why the name is called Ru Yan, like smoke. It's incredibly accurate. It doesn't project loudly, it hovers close to the skin, and someone leaning towards you might notice it, but someone across the room probably won't. But emotionally, it lingers far longer than its actual trail. And this is really my favorite one out of the three. It is also the one that is composed by Alexandra Carlin, and we can smell some similarities for the perfume she did with BDK perfume, which was the flagship perfume of the BDK store in Paris. This one, it's much softer. It's really like a distant memory. When you smell it, it's very comforting. It smells like smoke drifting through the air. It's a bit milky, it's a bit dusty, very musky, and super easy to wear, and it really feels like its name, like real but unreal. So next up, we have Untamed, Ye Cao. Untamed is all about life outside order. If ETHEREAL is memory, Untamed is instinct. It comes in this really beautiful green liquid, and the fragrance was inspired by a Chinese writer called Lu Xun. You can really feel that literary backbone immediately. The entire perfume is built around the idea of weeds, not as something unwanted, but as something impossible to domesticate. And Anne Flipo approaches that theme in a surprisingly raw way. Opening is green. You can smell citrus, you can smell galbanum, you can smell mugwort, blackcurrant. It smells like this shot of green energy, live, sharp. It's not polished green, it's not luxury spa green, but it smells like stems snapped by hand, like bitter sap, like wild plants growing through the concrete. And then greenness, the vetiver, the fenugreek begins to emerge. And I think that's when the fragrance becomes very interesting. Bitterness starts turning dry, earthy, dusty. The perfume still feels very sunlit, very sunny with the citrus, but unsentimental. Underneath everything, there's patchouli and incense grounding the composition into something a bit more dark and then a bit more older as well. But what I love is that it never really tries to become conventionally elegant, right? It still keeps its rough edge. There's a sentence in the campaign that says, "Beyond order, life grows untamed." And honestly, that fragrance smells like that. If you like fragrances that is green, that is wild, that is citrusy, but still easy to wear, also actually it does feel a bit powdery in this one as well. This one probably is the one to your liking. Last but not least, the third one in the collection, ANITYA, 正雨. ANITYA means impermanence after rain. It comes in this beautiful pale blue liquid in a transparent bottle. And ANITYA might be the most philosophical fragrance in the collection. The name comes from the Buddhist concept of impermanence, the understanding that everything changes, dissolves, and passes. And instead of interpreting that idea abstractly, the perfume translates it through rain. Not dramatic storm, but emotional weather. It opens with this rain accord, right? Petrichor. And you can smell the woods coming with it, this pine kind of fir, kind of woody element in it. And this cold, humid air immediately fills the composition. It's actually something very cinematic about the smell. You can almost visualize dark clouds lowering over empty streets. And then comes a very beautiful part of the fragrance, where you smell this kind of mineral rock jasmine heart in it. Jasmine here doesn't smell floral in this glamorous way, but it smells damp, right? Wet. It smells like it just grew from the stones. It's quiet, it's skin-like. And there's this mineral accord, the sensation of rainwater evaporating from skin and concrete. And in the dry down, you can smell the incense and the moss slowly emerge. Not spiritual in an incense temple way, but it's really more like emotional clarity after an emotional exhaustion. And there is a line in the campaign which I love, which says in Chinese, 阵雨过后，一切如常, which means after the rain, everything returns to stillness. And that's exactly the feeling. It's not the transformation, but it's just the world becoming quiet again. If you like atmospheric perfumes that smells of the city and the rain and this kind of mineralic rain, jasmine, incense, you definitely love this perfume. I would say it's a very meditative perfume and it's very cinematic. So, what are my final thoughts? What Melt Season is doing differently from many indie perfumes is they understand restraint. They don't over-explain. They don't overload the compositions with niche theatrics. Everything feels intentionally softened at the edges. And because of that, these three fragrances feel deeply human. Ethereal is for people haunted by memory. Untamed is for people resisting structure. And ANITYA is for people learning to let things pass. Personally, I feel that ANITYA feels the most emotionally complete to me, the one that is the most cinematic. This one is just a beautiful scent that is so poetic, that feels unreal. It's a skin scent, it really gives you this comfort in it. And Untamed is the more artistic one, the green one, but still, all three of them are very wearable. So together they don't smell like a collection trying to dominate one another, but they smell like fleeting moments, trying not to disappear. And I think the fascinating thing about Melt Season's new trilogy is that none of them try to smell beautiful in traditional niche perfume scents. They smell like emotional weather.